Waiting. Okay, who do we have? Craig and Sheila. And there's of course, other people here. Hi. Cheryl says, thanks for all I do. Well, thanks for all you guys do. Thank you for watching and supporting me. All right. I'm going to get shuffled. Hope everybody's week was good. It's finally Friday. Unless you're like in Australia or New Zealand where it's already Saturday, but still. Hope everybody has had a great time and that we all have a good weekend. Just gonna wait for a couple more to join the chat. I see we got 4 and we have 16 thumbs up. Aw, thank you guys. Hello, Mare. Okay. I guess in the meantime, I'll show you guys what's on my list. There are a lot of great suggestions. This is my process. Scribbles and doodles and purple pen. It has to be the purple pen. It's my favorite. I don't know. I found it in a bunch of my boyfriend's stuff when he moved over here, so it's mine now. No, my notes. Okay, so we have Butch, Cassidy, and the Sundance Kid. Somebody had suggested. I should have written down your usernames, and I didn't. But that's okay. You guys know who you are. And besides, some of these things were asked by multiple people anyways. Okay, so what happened to Sundance's girl, Etta Place? Was Etta killed in... Now, this person was asking, was she killed in Bolivia, or did she make it back to the United States? And did Butch survive and live under an alias? Because that seemed to be the rumor at the time. Now, please keep in mind, I like to go into these with, I've said it before, especially on the King Richard stream, where I try to do as little research as possible because I want to see what kind of intuitions and what kind of spiritual information comes in first, and then I like to do the research after and see what lines up and what, you know, came out totally weird. It's kind of fun. It's like a fun game for me. Now, second thing on the list, we have D.B. Cooper. Did he survive jumping from the plane over the Pacific Northwest with the ransom money? And if so, what happened? What happened? How did he avoid being caught? What did he do? Like, we need to know the story. And this was always something I found interesting too. Ever since the first time I'd kind of heard that story, I'm like, interesting. Oh, hello to Jackie, Michelle, Alexandra. Michelle, I like your username. That's a good song. Michelle, my belle. I don't want to get DMCA'd, my Michelle. All right. And then a whole bunch of people were asking about Jack the Ripper. A whole bunch of people were asking. And I actually got a very interesting spiritual insight. I'm really glad I wrote it down. But I'll share it with you when we get to that part of the reading, because it was really interesting. And I kind of got this when I was collecting all of the suggestions. I was like, well, do I really want to do, you know, Jack the Ripper? Like, what? It's so dark, it's so gross, it's so... And Spirit's like, well, I have something to tell you. And it's really interesting. So you guys you'll hear about that in a second. But like, who was he? And what was with all the killing and dismembering of the sex workers, of those women? After that, we have Al Capone. I thought this would be interesting. And when I was writing down all these notes and stuff, I don't know if it was like him that came into my awareness, but just the fact, this like really interested feeling, that's what I picked up. Like he was like, huh, kind of like he was willing to talk a little bit. So okay, he went to Alcatraz, survived, got out, whatever. But ever since his time there, people had reported hearing, this is me doing banjo action, banjo music, or like kind of this like, I guess kind of like ghostly sounding or something, banjo music coming from his cell after he left. And I want to know, I think I have an understanding of why that might be, but I just kind of want to know for sure. And I want to know if he was ever aware of that, like that people could still hear the echoes or like the residual energy that he'd left behind. I want to know if he was ever aware of that. And then I want to ask him about what happened when he died, like his crossing over experience, because he did a lot of bad stuff. And I wanted to ask him, like, do you have any regrets? Where did you go when you died? What was that like? You know, as he incarnated, and like if you guys come up with questions along the way, we can see if we can ask. And then after him, we have Alcatraz. I thought it would be an interesting segue into Alcatraz. How many escapees actually made it? Because a lot of people tried to escape. Not all of them did, though. Some did. What happened? How many actually made it? And what happened to the people who didn't make it? And I mean, my assumption is that they either drowned in the water or they were brought back and, you know, taken back to jail or just killed. The energy of that, I want to know about the energy of that place whilst it was in operation compared to the energy of the place now that it's abandoned. And I want to know if there are ghosts or earthbound spirits left there and why they're still there, and if there's anything anyone can do to help them. And then I also have Bonnie and Clyde on my list. I want to know the energy of their relationship. Are they still together in spirit? Have they reincarnated? And if so, are they together again, or have they been separated? This is all stuff that I just really wanted to know. So that's my notes. Tarot's Apprentice says, there's a true crime tarot deck too. It looks like a comic book based on the old Dick Tracy comic strips. Interesting. And my boyfriend is a big comic nerd, so I'll have to ask him if he knows anything about Dick Tracy. I know a little bit. I remember seeing a movie when I was little. My dad was watching it. It was Dick Tracy. I don't know if it was like a good movie or not, but interesting. I'll have to look at that true crime tarot deck. That's cool. Yeah, Alexandra, wow, this is going to be a long stream. She says, I know. We'll see how this goes. All right, I think we have enough people now. We have 20 and 20 thumbs up. I love when the numbers are balanced like that. Let's start with the first thing on our list, which was Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid and Sundance's girl Etta Place. And during this stream, I'm going to put out the intention, actually, first of all, because we're going to be doing this. I'm just warming up my wand. It's selenite rod, but I use it as a magic wand. Some of you guys who have gotten Reiki sessions with me will know how I use this. First of all, I'm going to cleanse the space. Make this message loud and clear that only love and light are welcome here. Because I want to see if any of these people in spirit want to come in. See if there's anyone that we can connect with. And I just figured because of the nature of the stuff we were reading on, it would be good to ask for extra protection from spirit. I know we're good. All right, so let's see if we can get maybe Etta Place to come in, if she can, or Butch or Sundance. see. Is anybody... And if not, we'll just do the reading anyways. Okay. But let's see. What happened to Etta Place, Sundance's girl? Was she killed in Bolivia or did she make it back to the States? Etta, what happened to you? What would you tell us happened? Now keep in mind, I really don't know the particulars of this story. So some of you guys who do have this knowledge might have to fill in a couple of blanks, but we'll just see. Okay. So what seemed to happen to Etta? I have, first of all, 9 of Wands. Conflict, something that lasted a long time. And she really held her own for as long as she could. I just heard damn right I did. So I wonder if maybe she's here present, maybe wanting to connect. There is somebody's energy here. It feels far away. I don't know what the situation or the conflict or whatever was, but she held out for as long as she could. And she lasted a really long time. I have like she wanted this to be over, the World card. I also have like she wanted to go home. I don't know why I heard that with the World card. She wanted to go home, but this Four of Cups is all about receiving news or receiving info or something that you really didn't want. This news being, you ain't going home. I just heard you ain't coming home. I heard the word cheap shot with this Page of Swords. And of course I have this Death card, and I did ask Spirit, is that actually death or is that just the symbolic, you know, because oftentimes this means transformation and growth and whatever. But I feel like she didn't make it. She did die. I feel like she really didn't make it back home. And cheap shot. Not really sure what that means. And I don't know if this is what happened or if this is just her using, right now I can't remember if that's a simile or a metaphor. Using like or as simile, like she's saying it was like I had been shot in the back. I keep hearing shot in the back. Cheap shot, like I was shot in the back. She feels like she could have had, to her, she would consider it a more honorable death. She's saying, I could have left a prettier corpse. But you work with what you got. But you work with what you got. And again, I really don't know what happened there with her. I'll have to look this up after because it sounds interesting. Now, did Butch survive and live under an alias? That seemed to be the rumor. What happened with him? What happened with him? Yeah, forward movement, or I don't know, I kind of had this like felt this running away vibe. Forward movement, laying low. I wonder if he did. There's this energy of GTFO, get the heck out, and moving. There's also this moving forward in life, moving on. Laying low, Four of Swords, laying low, living in relative comfort or security, kind of security. Would brush off, like when people would ask, you're really familiar, or like, don't I know you from? He'd be like, no, you don't. No, you don't. Or somebody would ask about some of his past experiences, and he just, he wouldn't want to talk about it after that. This is why I kind of was hesitant when I said security, because he always had this, maybe on the outside it looked like he was living securely, but he always had this like slight insecurity inside. About what? I want to know. About what? They'll come and find me. Something I just heard. They'll come and find me. Okay. Being found and killed, maybe? And an energy just feels like revenge. Like there was always a worry in the back of his mind that somebody would come take revenge with that tower. And I had just heard, worried they'd come and find me. But otherwise, lived, it just seems like, relatively peacefully, except for that always nagging fear that somebody would come and find him and kill him. Denying any ties to his old life with that Four of Cups. Okay, so we found out about Etta, found out about Butch. What about Sundance? What happened to him? Whatever became of him? Seems like he turned out okay, like, kind of, well, there's that insecurity. I said, he turns out okay. There's the same insecurity that it feels the same as, like, with Butch, that, yeah, somebody would come and take their revenge. He's always afraid of that in the back of his mind, but here's, like, success. Survived whatever the heck. Survived something. I keep hearing the word skirmish. Like, won the skirmish, or just considered himself a winner. He got to go home. The World card, I don't know. He got to go home. He had to still had to contend with, I think it was things maybe like criticism. Like there's just a lot of stuff he kind of was feeling like he had to defend himself against. I kind of want to know, like, what was that about? Was that people's criticism or judgment, or what was that all about? What was he contending with? Oh, the justice system? Maybe he was trying to run away from the law, but he considered himself, like, now he became, legend. Okay, I think he was just trying to defend himself from the law. Interesting. But yeah, he became kind of a minor celebrity. Legend. But lived in fear of people taking their revenge. Anything else to add? Spirit, anything? Seems like Sundance survived that whole situation. Did he ever move on from Etta? Did he ever find another person? Hierophant, he could have married somebody after. Yeah, I think he did. Because there's the balancing of love between two women. The one that he had and lost, and then the one he remarried. That's actually really interesting. So we're going to move to our second thing, which is D.B. Cooper. Here we go. I need to sit properly because my back's starting to hurt. Didn't know if you guys could hear me. My hair was covering the microphone. I don't know if that makes a difference or what or not. You guys can hear me okay? Okay. So D.B. Cooper, did he survive jumping from the plane over the Pacific Northwest? And if so, how did he avoid being caught, and what was the story after that? Okay, good. You guys can hear me. Perfect. Hello to everybody who just joined. Did he survive the jump from the plane? Yes and no. Yes and no. All right. There's the jump with the Fool card. Okay, when he did that, he didn't know what was going to happen. What was going through his mind was, this is it. This is the moment. Either I pull this off somehow, incredibly, or I die. He knew that it was pretty extreme. It was going to go one of two ways, I should say. But I have all these cards. Oh my god. Okay, so I got 3 of Swords. I got like heartbreak, loss, with the 5 of Cups, conflict, fighting, 5 of Wands, worry, 9 of Swords, death. So what I was picking up when I got all of these was he did initially survive the jump, but I think he died of his injuries. I think he was hurt. For some reason, when I had seen this 5 of Wands, I had the mental image of him being caught in a tree or a patch of trees with his parachute. I also just am having the mental image of him falling like way too fast. Like he pulled the chute, but I don't know if this was his thoughts or if Spirit's just telling me this so I understand, but I was hearing like, I'm still going way too fast. There was this kind of panic. He was falling way too fast. So I don't know, maybe a line or a cord or something was tangled on his chute. He kind of landed in the trees, got caught in the trees. I don't have cards. I don't have like 8 of Swords suggesting he was like stuck there or hangman, which is literally a guy that's like kind of stuck in a tree. But I do feel as though he was able to cut himself out, get out, but he was a lot more injured than he thought, because I do have Nine of Swords. Like, this was his fear. He knew he was hurt and he needed to go get like help, first aid, but he also didn't want to be caught or connected to the events that happened on the airplane. With this one, for some reason, I just heard self first aid, and I also heard homemade first aid. Like wrapping, I don't know, I pick up there was at least a broken bone, but wrapping is like wrapping something. I think it was wrapping an arm. And I'm just like seeing an image of a leg. I don't know which leg, but hearing the word shattered, something in it was shattered. I think it might have been like an ankle or something. That's kind of what I had been picking up, seeing an image of. Almost like seeing an x-ray and around the ankle, like there's the bone, you know, in the, I'm not an anatomy expert, but you got the knee bones connected to the bone that goes down, the shin bone, I don't know. That was like cracked, and then around the ankle there was just like, it looked like little flecks of white, like just shattered bone. And then there's death. So technically you survived that. This is just what I get, you know, and there could be, it could have turned out a slightly different way, but I do get that he survived the jump, but there is just, after the jump, I feel like he succumbed to his injuries. His self-done first aid, plus the seemingly shattered ankle. There was a lot of wounds, unseen wounds was something I was hearing, because I picked up that he thought it was only like, okay, the arm is no good, the leg hurts, limping, still, you know, in shock as well, trying to carry on, but I pick up there was internal bleeding, there was head trauma. It's crazy. How long, I want to know, how long did he survive? Nine. Well, okay, I used the minor arcana for estimating. There's a couple of different things there. This is suggesting he survived a little while. I use wands to predict days, swords for weeks, cups for months, pentacles for years, usually. 9 days. About 9 days. What was he doing during that time? I'm hearing seeking shelter. Kind of fighting his way through the brush. He landed, I just pick up, like, I just keep seeing like it's like a thick, I don't know, must be a forest. Thick patch of trees. Trying to fight his way through the brush with his injuries. Trying to keep going, trying to like regain his strength. But the injuries were more severe than he realized. I just have the feeling like he was trying to like find a town. Like he thought, oh, here's this clearing or this patch of trees or whatever. He was kind of looking for a town. Like he was looking to get help, medical help, and then he thought, okay, well, once I'm patched up, I'll skip. That was what I just heard. Well, once I'm patched up, then I'll skip. But he didn't, I don't know, did he make it into a town or anything? It just says, like, I just keep getting he died of his injuries. Did he ever make it to civilization? He was close. He was close. I have the strong feeling like somebody found him, would have been like unconscious, found him, like drove him into town, but it was kind of too late. Somebody's asking, where did he land? I don't know. I don't know where he landed, but it seems to be an area with really thick trees. Sheila's asking, did he hit trees on the way down? I wonder if he did, because I had that mental image of his parachute caught in a tree. And he was stuck there, and he had to cut his way out and fight his way out. I wonder if he did maybe get banged up real bad by some trees on his way down. Because, like, he had the parachute, and, you know, maybe it slowed him down enough that he didn't, like, die on impact, but still felt like he was falling too fast, maybe just too fast for a safe landing. Oops, I had a card fly out. His plan on paper and in his mind, it seemed pretty good, seemed pretty solid. But in practice, it didn't really go so well. There's this rushing energy, and again, with maybe the parachute malfunction, him like rushing to the ground or something. Bottom of the deck, there's a death card. So I think he survived the fall, but he didn't survive his injuries, if that makes sense. So yeah, the answer to that is yes and no. Do you survive jumping from the plane? Yes and no. And, you know, I was just gonna, like, say, oh, I bet he regretted that decision right away. But right as I was saying that, I had cards fall out. Like, okay, first, there's that 7 of Cups. He went over the plan. Oh, what could have gone wrong? Like, why didn't my parachute work? Why didn't this go well? Excuse me. He wasn't ready to totally condemn himself, though. He was like, no, I gotta keep going. Gotta keep going. It's just a bump in the road. Gotta keep going. So maybe the plan looked good in theory, but it didn't really work in practice. C didn't seem to account for things like parachute malfunction or anything like that. At least from what we have here. Okay, so that seems to be what happened with that guy. The next guy, I'll say, on our list was Jack the Ripper. Because a few people are asking about it. Now, I had said quite a while ago, about half an hour ago in the stream, that I had gotten some interesting spiritual insight. Because, now about DB Cooper, you guys are asking about the money. Crap, okay, sorry, I hate doing this, going on to a new one and then having to quickly go back to the old one. Yes, this was a question I almost totally forgot about. What happened to the money? What happened to DB Cooper's money? What happened to the money? Somebody found it. Oh, here. Eventually somebody found it, but they had no idea what it was for. They had no idea what it was for. Yeah, so it was found, but the person who found it maybe didn't know what it was for right away. Okay, sorry, that was the answer. Back to Jack the Ripper now. Here's the spiritual insight that I got, okay? First, I was like, well, asking Spirit, like, this was a really gross, like, story in history. The serial killer, and of course he would kill these young women, the sex workers in London or wherever, and was known to dismember them and do some pretty gross stuff with that. And I'm like, oh, do I really want to read on that? But then Spirit told me, yes, you do, because I'm going to tell you something. And you want to know what I learned? It was more than one person. started off with one person. And as it's interesting but sad, okay? And it did kind of gross me out. It was more than one person. Started off as one guy. That one guy did not get caught. Other men who would have already just been, I don't know, I guess, psycho. Other men that just had disgusting attitudes towards women. Yes, Cheryl, copycat. Might make sense, a copycat. Other men who maybe had thoughts of doing this disgusting stuff anyways, the murdering and stuff, were like, oh, he didn't get caught. And now, like, the police gave a nickname for him. Well, you know, maybe I'll just do the same thing to the body that that guy did, and they're just going to think it's him. They won't know it's me. So it began to be multiple people. It's really sad, actually, because it's almost like that just encouraged other people who were just that sick and messed up as the original Jack the Ripper to go ahead and do those things. Well, we'll just blame it on Jack and we won't get caught. Okay, so Sheila's asking, were they working together, these multiple people? Or were they, you know, was it just different murders that all seemed to happen around the same time? Or was it like a network of guys, of people? I'm sorry, I do pick up that it was men. I know that women can be psychopaths, women can be killers, women can do terrible, disgusting stuff too. I just feel like at least most of these killers were men. But it's not to say that maybe they didn't have some help from some women. We're going to find out. Were they working together? Was it like a network of killers, or was it just a bunch of stuff happening all at the same time? At least two of them did. At least two of them, I think, could have been partners. Yeah, there were two that worked together. I don't know if they were buddies or if they were brothers or not brothers. I pick up they were maybe just buddies. What is that word? Cohort? I don't know. I heard that word. That we're in it together. And a mental image that I just got, I'm not going to be graphic or anything. Spirit won't show me anything that would be traumatizing, but a dark alley, a young lady with a very sexy dress for that time, because again, a lot of the victims were sex workers. Pink corset dress, a beautiful lady, but they sneak up behind her and they both, like, one grabs her and the other one like pulls something out of his coat, and then Spirit's like, not showing you anything, not showing you any more past that. There's two that would work together to gang up on unsuspecting sex workers. Didn't they, Running Sloth is saying, didn't they think the main one was a doctor? I thought I heard that, and I thought it was because of the way that some of the body parts on the victim were removed and either missing or were placed elsewhere on the body. Like, again, this is really gross stuff. Oh, had a card fly out onto the floor. A doctor. It was one of the main one was a doctor, and Elizabeth is suggesting we're a butcher. And I'm just hearing that the different killers came from many different walks of life. I heard the word surgeon, and like got the energy of like surgery with this card, so that could have been one of them. Maybe was a surgeon, and there's just something about sneaking around under the cover of darkness, because he was like respected in his community. He could have been like a doctor that, and this is shocking because like maybe he just like one of these guys, you know, being the surgeon or whatever, snuck around under cover of darkness. I pick up that in his practice, this doctor was very good with children and was respected by a lot of moms and families. But there we have the tower. And I assume that's referring to like the killings. And okay, so why all the killing and dismemberment? Like what the heck was with that? What's with that? Why was that happening? Well, there was a lot of different reasons. I think it depended on each killer, what their particular reasoning was. I'm just putting some cards down. All right. I don't know if this was the original Jack, but it started, okay, now this lovely lady, Queen of Wands, this is just representing a lot of the women killed, a lot of the young sex workers, okay? Originally, it started when one guy felt like he was cheated by the sex worker. So maybe, I don't know, but he felt like she cheated him or she lied to him or something. And there's a lot of anger there. And it just escalated and he ended up killing her. Another reason, because like Spirit showed me a few different reasons, some of the reasons some of these killers had. Another one is actually with these two going together. So first, one guy felt like he was cheated by the one lady. Some of the other ones didn't want to pay for the services. They didn't want to pay for the services. They thought, well, we'll get what I want from you, and then I'll kill you and take your money. It's disgusting. It's disgusting and it's really sad. Some of them, it was because some of the women, there were some that worked in groups for protection and maybe because they belonged to the same house or the same brothel. But some of the women worked alone. And some of the killers saw, oh, she's alone. Oh, easy target. Some felt like it was their due diligence to, now, this is just the wording that popped into my head here, was remove the, or what is it, cleanse the streets of filth, or remove the filth off the streets. I feel like sex work is a lot less harmful than murder. But some of these people, very twisted individuals. Oh, sorry guys, my hair is tickling my face. Ugh, there we go. Was he related to royal family? There are rumors about that. And I'm assuming, oh, this would be like the original Jack. The original Jack. Was he related to the royal family? close to the royal family. I mean, aces are yeses, but let's keep going. Was he related, or did he just work for them? Because I'm not really sure what kind of energy I'm feeling. Was he related, Spirit, or did he just work for them? He was potentially knighted by them, like somebody that they really looked up to. Somebody that they would have called, like, sir. And in a second, we'll look at what his role maybe was. I have the Empress. I don't know, was it a queen in charge at that time? Because that's what I'm feeling. The Empress. I also have the Magician. The Magician is a card all about power, though, so like a lot of this really was all about power. Like having power over other people, having power over things like life and death for others. Because something I'm really picking up here was like this original Jack really was obsessed with that power. Like, please don't be grossed out and I might get demonetized, but the word fetish comes in. Okay, I thought it was Victoria. Okay, I thought so. But no, sorry, the word fetish comes in. Like, that's how obsessed with having dominion over other people was. That's how strong his obsession was. And by, like, I don't know if he was, like, related. I think he just worked for them, or was just really close with them. Because by being close to the queen, that made him feel powerful. But he was like, he wanted more. He wanted to feel even more power. He didn't, well, okay. Something else I pick up is that he didn't, he didn't have control over his own, life or death. We can't predict that in most cases. And he kind of, I wonder if he had like a health condition or something. I don't know, maybe we'll look into it. But by killing other people, it made him feel like he was in more control over his life. This is reminding me a lot. Holy crap. I am being reminded of, how many of you guys have watched BBC Sherlock in the last 10 years? Like a modern Sherlock Holmes, the very first episode. I don't want to do spoilers, but there's a person that's killing people, and that was his reason for killing people. He saw it as outliving people. The bad guy in that episode. And I feel that same energy with this original, like, Jack the Ripper. That's so crazy. Now, did the original Jack, why did he come to that conclusion that killing people was the way to feel control over his own life? I kind of wondered if he had a health problem or something. But Spirit, can you tell us what was going on with him? Like, what the hell? Well, he wanted the notoriety. Okay. You know, some murderers won't do what they do if they know there won't be any attention attached. So, okay, for attention, and of course people maybe wouldn't point it exactly back to the person, but to that character of Jack the Ripper. I wonder if he did have like a health problem or some kind of sickness. I'm hearing the word lame. Like he could have just had an injury or something. But back then, they didn't really have the medical developments that we do now. What did he do for the royal family? That's actually something else I want to know. What did he do for the royal family? Because I feel like he worked for them. What did he do? There's like something about advising, like an advisory role. Has to do with bringing in money for the kingdom. I wonder if maybe his job was to like give the queen suggestions like, hey, you know, I heard that there's a lot of resources here in or over there in like South Africa, or well, you know, in India there's all kinds of like stuff that our men could bring back for us and for you. I think that's kind of what he did. Just kind of had an advisory role like that, and it just had to do with different ways to bring in money for the kingdom. And I heard the word lame, so he had like a physical, and I'm hearing the word defect. Like nowadays we wouldn't consider an injured person to be lame or defective. But back then, maybe that's just the terminology they had. Interesting. Something else that I pick up was that with this original Jack the Ripper killer, once he started realizing that there were copycats happening, it was almost like he went back into the shadows and stopped doing the killings, but just the energy was like, well, you know what, I'm going to sit back and let all these other copycats do my work, because it gave him the same satisfaction as if he'd done it himself. In fact, something I pick up is that he felt like that was more efficient than doing the dirty work himself. Elizabeth is asking, was it Dr. Francis Tumblety? Is that how you say that name? Tumblety. He was American. Is that, let's see, is that something we can ask Spirit? Was it that, hang on, was it that guy? I don't think so. I don't think so. Because as far as this Tumblety person goes, he was pretty reliable. So people would have considered him a reliable, like a witness or a reliable source for information, reliable person in the community. There's this confusion. I wonder if people suspected it, you know, at first. Well, I wonder if it was him. But, you know, no proof, and there was just confusion over who was doing this. Nobody really knew who was doing this. I don't feel like it was him. But yeah, that was fascinating. Like, I almost didn't read on this until Spirit was like, no, let me tell you, it was more than one person doing the killings. There's all kinds of copycats. And I felt like a lot of the killings were carried out by men. But you know what? I want to know, though, were some women responsible for the killings, too? Because like I said, women can be just as horrible. Can do just as terrible, shitty things as men. Were there women involved with any of the killings? Oh, I'm not surprised. Here's the church. Here's the church. The church didn't like this kind of sex work happening. Now, I don't think the church, this is something with this Page of Pentacles. Now, this is not normally the card I would get for a hired gun, but like, or calling a hit or anything, but there's a similar energy here. I don't think the church meant to call a hit on some of these sex workers. The church wanted to eradicate, I'm hearing again, eradicate the filth, I guess, of prostitution, but the church was saying, we need to like evangelize, or, you know, we need to share with them the good news of God or whatever. We need to show our good Christian compassion towards them, and maybe they will change their ways. This is what the church was saying. But I think there were some women that were involved in, now I say the church, I mean like the religious institutions in the area, okay? Now, it wasn't just one single church, right? But I think there were some religious women that were like, we need to eradicate this filth. And because, like I said, psychopaths can be any gender, they can be anywhere. Here we have a woman paying somebody under the table, like, or like paying a young man under the table, like here, like there's this one, like there's the energy I'm kind of feeling. Again, I'm not hearing like what they're saying, but it's late at night. She slips him some money, and she says something about, well, there's one who's always over there on that corner, on that street. And she's usually there at this time of night. Be ready. So, okay, a lot of the killers were men, but there were women responsible for the killings too. So yeah, Jack the Ripper started off as like one original killer and then a bunch of copycats. And when the original guy was seeing all these copycats, he's like, oh, well, I'm going to sit back and let them do my job for me, and I will just collect all the satisfaction. And it's really sick and disgusting, but that seems to be what happened there. I need some water because I have been talking for an hour straight. Okay. All right. So our next one is going to be Al Capone. And I really, when I was collecting all of the suggestions for this one, and there's so many suggestions that I wanted to include, but it was worried that this would just run too long. Oh, hi to everybody who just joined. All right, so we're going to look at Al Capone. We know the kind of stuff he was famous for, known for. These cards really want to talk. See, I felt like he was interested in speaking with us. I'm just going to pick up these cards that fell on the ground. Whatever half of 78 is, that's that number pickup is what I'm playing. Here we go. That's better. So Al Capone, we know what he's known for. Old gangster. Survived Alcatraz. And for like years and years after he left, people could hear banjo music coming from his cell. Ooh, and right away, look what fell out. 8 of Swords and Wheel of Fortune. And I don't know if he's like here. I do keep seeing, sorry, my hair is just tickling me. I do keep seeing his face kind of in my mind's eye. And he's saying that this is a perspective he has now that he's in spirit, but going to that jail, going to prison, he needed that. That was something that he needed in life. And with this Wheel of Fortune, like, this is the overall big picture. This is like so on a soul level that experience was something he needed. Why was it something you needed? Ooh, I haven't even pulled cards. I just heard him say, I needed to know what true fear was so that I could become aware of what I was inflicting on others. That experience of being in prison or in Alcatraz like that helped his soul to grow. It's kind of amazing what sort of experiences the soul will take and be like, you know what? This really is going to suck for the present moment in your life on Earth, but it's going to help you grow. It's going to help. The word ascend comes in. It was going to help him to ascend. He needed to know what true fear was so that he could be aware of what he was inflicting on others. But banjo music being heard from his cell after he left. Is he aware of that? What was with that? Oh, Cheryl, thank you for the super chat. Thank you. I love that. Thanks for your support. Why does that residual energy hang around? That's the reason why people still hear that music. That's very, very heavy residual energy. His experience in prison was fraught with suffering. He's saying he didn't think it could get this bad. He didn't know it could be that bad. And in that prison in particular, that was it was harsh. There was all kinds of abuse. A lot of officials kind of just looked the other way. It's like, oh, there's shit going down at Alcatraz. Well, we don't care. Was he haunted by a ghost? Okay, somebody was asking that. Was he actually haunted by a ghost in prison? Was he haunted by a ghost? Well, he was haunted by something. Prolonged, to him, I just am hearing him say prolonged isolation. He didn't realize it at the time, but now he's saying that it caused me I couldn't think straight. I wasn't seeing straight. He felt like he was losing his mind in there. So was it a hallucination or was it a ghost? Or was it a bit of both? Never know. Okay, some of it now, Page of Swords, this is like the mind racing. Some of it was to do with mental health issues. Oh yeah, and she was saying like he had syphilis, and yeah, unchecked syphilis, that people were known to go a little bit crazy, because that really, really had a damaging effect on the mental health. he thought he was seeing not just one ghost, like he thought he was seeing a lot of different ghosts of people that he had killed or he had cheated. He thought they were coming back to like punish him. But he was really mentally unwell during his time there. Now, the next thing I was gonna ask him is like, is he aware of that residual energy still being in his cell? A mental image he's showing me is this energy of despair just coming out from him, and it's just bouncing off all the walls of the cell. Because the emotions he felt there were just so strong. The fear he felt, the despair he felt. That's what he's showing me, is that that energy came out from him and it just bounced around the walls of the cell, and I'm hearing the word echo chamber. It just became an echo chamber of misery. Now, are you aware? Because I feel like he is like here. Is he aware? Are you aware of that residual energy still hanging around? I think he is. He is. And I also pick up, he doesn't want that residual energy to go away. Some people you can go and visit. I think you can go and visit the prison. I think you can get tours and stuff. He doesn't want people to forget, because he wants people to, it's almost like he wants to scare them away from doing some of the awful things that he did. And this is his perspective now that he's in spirit. The Magician, it has such a powerful effect. His time there had such a powerful effect on him, and he wants other people to learn from his experience there. I'm just hearing, if scaring someone onto the right path is what it takes, then I'll do it. This huge feeling of he really does not want people to do the same things he did. Now, the next thing I was going to ask him was like, any regrets? And what happened to you when you died? Where did you go? What was it like? And maybe like, what is he doing now? Because I'm just picking up on his energy, and I think it's because now that he's in spirit, we cross over and we learn all kinds of things. We do a lot of healing. He was a pretty bad guy on Earth, and he's like nodding his head. I see this. He's nodding his head in acknowledgement. Like he knows he did bad things on Earth. He considers himself in that lifetime. He considers that he was a bad person, or he considers himself like a bad character. But his actual soul is love and light, because we are all love and light. And what I'm picking up on is that underneath of all of that bad stuff, and underneath everything we know about his lifetime as Al Capone, his soul is actually very gentle. Sounds weird to say. But his soul was very gentle, or is, that I'm picking up on, is very gentle. And I think that in that lifetime, just underneath of all of the horrible stuff that he had done, and underneath all the crime and whatever, maybe he was, I don't want to say he was a good person, but there is always good in people. There's always good in people. And just from what I'm feeling connecting with him now, his soul just feels gentle and friendly, and like willing to share. Willing to share information. So some people make a radical transformation when they cross over, and it seems like he's been doing a lot of work. So I want to know, any regrets? What are things that, now that you're in spirit and you have a different perspective, what are things you wish you had done differently? You guys are saying, like, his niece said he was a good uncle. He learned sign language for his deaf son. Like, that actually does go really well with the energy that I'm feeling from him. And just this very, like, a really gentle soul. And I'm hearing the words innocent little boy. Like, when he was a little kid, maybe, I don't know what kind of maybe life traumas and stuff that he'd gone through or whatever. I don't know what his upbringing was like, but I just really strongly pick up that when he was a little boy, he was very sweet. And that sweetness and that kind of energy that he had just was buried under layers and layers of bad stuff that he did. So what are things you could have done, or you wish you had done slightly differently? Now with this Wheel of Fortune, he's saying everything happened the way it needed to happen for me. He wishes he had been more generous. Because, like, maybe he treated his family really well, but, like, there's just this feeling of just more generous, like, with others in the community. He wishes that he would have used his influence for better. Wish he could have used wealth for better purposes. And you know what? I'm going to ask him, what are some things that he's proud of? What are some of the things he's proud of? I'm hearing, I didn't quit. I never quit. There's this persistence energy. Very persistent guy. He is proud of the fact that he did not give up easily. I'd put my mind to something and boom, I'd make it happen. He's very proud of that. And he's proud of his family. He's very proud of his family. He's saying most of them are back here with me now. So, actually, instead of asking where did he go when he died, because I've read on this before. I've done videos on what happens to psychopathic people or dictators or extremely narcissistic people when they die. And if you want to know what happens, just check out those videos. Long story short, they go where they think they should go for a little while, and then they slowly enter a place of healing. So what kind of work are you doing now in spirit? What kind of things are you doing now? What are you doing now? He's saying we're on Earth. There were times where I skipped opportunities for growth. In heaven, I say yes to everything, every opportunity that comes my way. So opportunities to do what? Opportunities to do what? Okay, let's see. I got some cards down. He has surviving family members. I don't know if he would have like met them or if they would have known him or met him. But he gets opportunities to go and watch over his family that's still on Earth, the generations that are still on Earth. He gets the chance to go and look after them. There's a granddaughter. I keep hearing that granddaughter. It's like, I think there's more than one. And he's like very interested in her and very proud of her in particular. I mean, all of them, like he's correcting me. Yes, all of them, but I'm interested in this one. Why is that? Why? Because she's going to do great things. Because she's going to do great things. She's confident. She's creative. She channels spiritual energy without knowing so. And he's just saying, like, she's going to do big things. Big, big things. What other opportunities do you take in the spiritual realm? The opportunity to live in joy instead of shame and guilt and self-judgment. Ooh, his granddaughter wrote a book. Ooh, that's cool. Like, he's like super proud of, and it's not just like one that he's favoring or anything, like, but there is somebody in the family that is just big things, he's saying, big things. Another opportunity that you take from the spiritual realm, what is this? Okay. Understanding that there's two sides to every legend. There's multiple sides to every legend. You know, known for being this really powerful gangster, known for his influence. But he also wants people to know, and he's reminding me again of the Alcatraz thing and how he doesn't want that residual energy to ever go away. He's saying, if you worship the idol, do you worship what the idol has done? Do you worship what the idol is known for? He's saying, don't look up to that character. Don't look up to that character of me. Don't look up to that side of me. And because there's like multiple sides to this like legend, yeah, he had the notoriety. He's probably not going to be forgotten anytime soon. He's just saying, like, don't do what I did. Don't look up to that. He wants people to make good decisions. He wants people to take a better path. Oh, now somebody was asking, was he really responsible for the St. Valentine's Day massacre? He really responsible for that? Right away I hear him say that he's taking responsibility, and like in spirit he takes responsibility for it. Again, I don't know very much about this situation, the massacre, but with these Pentacles cards, he might have helped to fund the operation. Or help to plan or something. This is my card for like a hired gun. The person carrying out the work. I wonder if he was like in charge of like recruiting people maybe, or getting certain people to be involved with this. But I definitely heard something about like funding the operation. Like he was responsible for some of that, like maybe supplying, because I just keep seeing pictures of ammo. Maybe helped with his money supply weaponry or something. He's saying that he does take responsibility for it. He's saying the responsibility falls on many people's shoulders, but he's saying like it falls on many people's shoulders, but yes, he does take some responsibility. He takes responsibility for his part. He's saying, here, here's the massacre. At the time, he thought, this is something that just needs to be done. This is just something I got to do. That was work. That was just part of his work. And he thought he was just gonna, whatever. This will all blow over eventually. I'll get through this. We'll get through it. What's your perspective on it now that you're in spirit? He sees it as needless violence and death. Now that he's in spirit, he saw it all as needless. But when he was on Earth at the time, he thought that was just something he had to do. Like, that was just a job. It was work. Killing, he's correcting me. He's saying the term is dispatching. His perspective on this now that he's in spirit is he's just like, there's so much senseless violence. And he's admitting that he allowed a lot of bad things to happen. He allowed a lot of people's deaths, directly or indirectly. Has he reincarnated yet? Have you reincarnated yet? Or do you have plans to reincarnate anytime soon? Or what's happening there? I'm hearing him say, don't rush me. He still feels like he's got a lot of work to do. I think he feels like in spirit he's still making amends. That's what I heard with this friendship card. He's still making amends for people whose lives he's ruined. And then when he feels like he's ready, then he'll make plans to come back. I don't think he's back yet. He's saying, don't rush me. I still have a lot of work to do. That's fair. Craig's saying just pay your taxes next time. Because is that what he got dinged for? It wasn't anything to do with like all the violence and stuff. He was like actually dinged for like tax evasion or something, or fraud or something like that. Okay, so any last things you want to say before we move on to the next thing? He's saying he wants to stick around for the Alcatraz questions. He's saying that now since he's, died and left this earth, he's so far removed from, he feels like he's so far removed from his time there in a way that he finds it interesting to come back, like sort of go back and look. Because when we talk about it and think about it, to him, it actually sort of transports him back there. He's saying, this is good for me. I'm hearing the words exposure therapy. I know that's something that's like a way to manage phobias and fears. Exposure therapy, being exposed bit by bit to the thing you're afraid of. This is kind of helping to heal him a little bit. This is nice. Okay, water time. Alcatraz questions. How many escapees actually made it? And what happened to those who didn't make it? Now, I don't necessarily expect an exact number or anything for how many escapees made it, but can we just get a general look out of all of the people in the history of that place who have tried to escape? How many of them made it? Was it a majority, a minority? How many of them made it? Okay, here's the leaving, here's the escaping. Not too many. Most of them just got brought back or killed. So what happened to those who didn't make it? Again, I was seeing their Eight of Swords. Some of them were brought back and probably abused like crazy. Or killed. What happened to some of the ones who did not make it? Oh, yeah, okay, so I was saying about how a lot of them were. Some of them were just killed, some of them drowned. I do pick that up. Some of them were brought back and like abused even worse. Some of them caught by, you know, could have been guards, could have been others. Brought back to this, I pick up, this is the warden with the emperor, brought back to the warden. Eight of Wands, I was seeing bullets. 8 bullets. Not necessarily 8, but it's just the barrage here. And it was kind of just swept under the rug, kept secret. So some of the escapees were brought back and executed, basically. There's like a lot of hard manual labor I'm seeing with this one. Some of them were just made to do that, and some of them it was just like a ton of bullets in the back. Okay, so now I want to take a look at what was the energy of that place while it was in operation. So we'll pull some cards for that. And then we'll pull some cards for the energy of that place now that it has been abandoned, more or less. And like I said, I think you can sometimes get a tour or something like that, if I remember right. And if not, I could be thinking of other places, but I'm pretty sure you can still get a tour of that place. Like, it's not like 100% abandoned. I think there's still a little bit of, like, there's security staff and things like that to make sure people don't, you know, break in and fuck around. But the energy of that place while it was in operation, what was it like? And I'm like with Al Capone, like he's still present, and he's saying, you know what I told you. Oh, Cheryl's saying they used to, but I don't know anymore. Yeah, I don't know either. I know that you could get a tour. Okay. What was the energy of that place like while it was in operation? It was closed in 1963. Okay, that's what Cheryl was saying. The energy of that place while it was in operation. I'm getting weird cards. Weird. But I think I understand why. Here we go. Here's the real truth. Here we go. Of course, the bottom of the deck tells us all the real truth. Well, okay, I'll show you guys. First of all, here's my weird cards, all right? Now, I wonder if the place, I don't know if they had a lot of money or what their funds were like, but these first bunch of cards I'm going to show you, actually I'll just show you all of them. These bunch of cards I'm going to show you, this is what they wanted to look like on the surface. This is what they wanted the public to think when they thought of Alcatraz. That it was successful and made a lot of money. That, now with this magician, like, what's happening here, Spirit? Like, it was really powerful, had a powerful influence. That, oh, you know, everything is okay here, and not necessarily the energy that we all get along, but the energy that there's nothing to see. You know, oh, here's us treating our inmates with respect or whatever, treating them almost like an energy of like treating them like children, like, oh, we're rehabilitating them, we're re-educating them, we want to create harmony. This is what they wanted people to think, okay? But the truth, I'm hearing backbreaking labor. Akin to slavery, the vibe I'm feeling. Isolation. They took advantage of their more isolated location. And of course, back then, they didn't have the internet. They didn't have necessarily security cameras. They didn't have proof of some of the violence and the abuse happening. So with this energy of isolation, that's probably what gave the people who ran that place maybe a feeling of power. Well, no one's around to see any of this anyway. And then on the other hand, isolation for the prisoners there. This feeling of nobody cares about us, nobody's going to help us. Just this like desolate. The word desolate comes in. Nobody cares about us and nobody's going to come help us. And I think this is something that the prisoners were told too. Well, get used to it because nobody cares. Ain't nobody cares about your lot. Something I heard. Cheryl saying they put people in the hole for days if you did something wrong. Extreme isolation. They would lie to the outside world and the press about what happened in the prison and how it was being run. And there's a lot of sneaky behavior, like from some of the people who worked there, like some of the guards and stuff. I don't know if they had any kind of like regulations or anything for prisons, at least back then. But there's this feeling of like cutting corners and skirting guidelines and rules with their justification that, well, nobody's going to come and see it anyways. Like, you know, who's going to come wandering in and catch us? Just a lot of violence, a lot of fights. Like, I pick up like a lot of riots. Or just that kind of energy, maybe. Just a very violent energy in that place. while it was operational. And then, of course, there's Eight of Swords. It's literally one of my, like, jail or prison cards. And now in the comments. Oh, Sheila's saying they do still have tours. It's a national park. Okay. Ellie is saying, I circled Alcatraz on a boat a few years ago, and it felt so bleak and dank, even in the sunshine. I did not want to go ashore, she's saying. So that residual energy is still there. And again, I'm hearing from, like, Al Capone, like, I hope it stays. Like, he wants people to know. Some of it is he wants people to remember the horrors of the way some of the prisoners were treated, but he also wants people to know what real fear was, like we were saying. He wants people to know what true fear is so that it scares them away from doing some of the criminal stuff he did. Okay, so now let's put all these back in the deck. What is the energy of the place like now that it is basically abandoned, or, you know, it's not in operation anymore? That you can, you know, go do tours and stuff. What is the energy of the place like now? And I literally just read Ellie's comment about how it felt really bleak and dark. But let's just look overall compared to how it was when it was running. Yeah, it still has a strong residual energy field around it. It's sad. There's just this energy of sadness that permeates the place. And okay, all right. Since you can go do tours and stuff like that, the energy of the place, I don't want to say it's like touristy, because that's not the right word for it. It's not quite the energy, but I think it's just the tourism that lightens it up a little bit. I think it's just like how superficial now, like, pay some money, go on the tour. It takes away a little bit of that sting, because now there's more of an educational side to it. Someone in the comments said restless, and I think that might be correct also with this, like, energy is just still moving. There's still a lot of activity. Which brings me to the next question. I'm going to put all those cards back in the deck. Are there ghosts or earthbound spirits left there? Is there anybody left? Are there any earthbounds left there? Hello, Sheila. Hello to everybody else who joined. Are there any ghosts, earthbounds left on Alcatraz? Two or three? Three of Pentacles, Two of Pentacles. I don't know. I just got this, like, there's two or three. There's two that consistently stay, and there's one that pops in and out. They kind of see themselves as like a little family, because they're aware of each other. Anything about them? When were you there? Different, in the 1950s, but slightly different years. Is that like when you died? Because somebody's saying 1957 and somebody's saying 1959. And I'm hearing the other guy doesn't talk much. That's the one that pops in and out, I think. What can you tell us? Jesus, this is dark. Then again, they are telling me, Sienna, you asked. Sienna, you asked. It's kind of weird they know my name, but then again, I don't know your names. You know my name, but I don't know your names. Okay, so Robert was one of them. Bradley was one of them. I don't know who's telling me this, but I'm hearing Robert, Bradley, and that guy is Del, D-E-L. He's saying they never knew his first name. Del, he must have had a French last name or something, because Del, D-E-L, is just part of his last name. Del. Interesting, like Del Font or something like this. They never knew his first name, they just called him Del. So Robert, Bradley, and Del. And Del is the one that doesn't talk very much. Oh yeah, I was asking them what happened to them, and this is why I went, Jesus, that got dark. Hanging, okay, and okay, yeah, hanged man, a little bit too literal, but it gets the point across. Somebody died by hanging, and I want to know, was it suicide or was it made to look like suicide? Was it suspicious? Guards looked the other way. Pretend we didn't know anything about it. He must have done it himself. Still not picking up if it was a murder or suicide. He's saying that he, and again, I don't know which one is telling me this information, but he's saying that, well, it's true. At the time, he was suicidal. He wanted, most of all, though, he wanted to go home to his mother. No, I don't know if his mother was alive at the time or passed away, but he just was desperate to go home to his mother. But he's saying, like, he did strongly feel like he was searching for a way out. But he thought about suicide, but he thought, well, if I do, I won't see my mother. But yet died by hanging, and the guards looked the other way. So it's really fishy energy. Somebody else died, and there's like a violent act, like a blitz. I'm hearing like blitzkrieg. Something I was hearing, blitzkrieg. I don't know, maybe it was like a riot or something. But there's a violent act, and the other guy died as a result of this violent act. Riot. I just feel like the energy is like, I don't know if they had riots there, but the energy is very much like it was like a yard fight or something. Or not the yard. It would have happened inside the building. There's like all the walls lined with cells, and then there's like a hallway or a space where the guards would walk and stuff like that. Like it happened in that kind of area. I don't know why I said outside or yard. But it was like a large space like that. And the other guy was shivved. Was stabbed. Jesus. So dark. So those are the earthbounds that are there, Robert, Bradley, and Dell. And again, with Dell, I don't know if his name, it was like Dell Font or Dell, I don't know. But that was kind of like part of the last name. I just felt like it was just like an informal, because they didn't know his first name, this Bradley and Robert. They're not telling me when Dell died. They're saying we don't know. And we don't ask. What's Dell's energy like? He's very sullen. He doesn't say a lot. Why not? What's with him? I'm hearing 1,000-yard stare. I think he spent a lot of time in isolation. A lot of time in isolation. And I just heard one of them say 1,000-yard stare. Which is actually I think it is a trauma response, if I remember correctly. I know I've read about it before. Sometimes like veterans, especially like First World War, back when they called it shell shock, they didn't know post-traumatic stress disorder. But some of these men just, I don't know if the word catatonic is necessarily correct, but they just had this look in their eyes, almost like, I don't want to say almost like the light was gone, but it's the look of somebody who has seen way too much. And they say that's kind of what Dell has, is this 1,000-yard stare. And he doesn't talk much. I think he spent a lot of time in the hole. So why are you guys still earthbound? Why are you still there? Makes me a little bit sad. A little bit sad. I feel like this is Robert telling me this, all of this information. They don't necessarily see a way out. They don't know. They've been here so long. They don't really see a way out. And it's like, this is reflective of like their exhaustion, their suffering. And they are all aware that they're dead, by the way. They all know. Robert's saying, he's like, I don't know about the others, but I know, like with him, he's saying, like, I don't deserve to go to heaven. I've been in this shit, I've been in this shithole for so long. I don't know what light looks like. I've been here so long, I don't know what light looks like. And he's like saying like how he doesn't feel like he deserves to go to heaven. Well, what about Bradley and Dell? I just kind of pick up like Bradley feels a very similar way. And they're saying, oh, we don't know about Dell. But from these cards here, I also just have 5 of Pentacles and 9 of Swords. I'm hearing what's even on the other side. I'm also hearing from one of them, I've caused so much damage. Do I even want to see what I've done? And now somebody's asking, so their guides aren't around? And I want to know, I feel like the guides are around. Are you very aware that you have spirit guides? And I also just want to know, what are the spirit guides doing? This is so fascinating. Oh, and by the way, I feel like Al Capone just kind of left the chat. Like, I got talking to Robert Bradley and, well, not talking to Del, but Del's present. And I feel like Al Capone was just like, okay, I think I'm done here. Like, you guys take over. Bye. Like, I think, and I also just was getting this feeling like this is a little bit too weird for me. So he left. But okay, so what are the spirit guides of Robert Bradley and Del doing right now? Well, they're waiting. They're waiting. They're hanging around. They're waiting. They know that, well, and I'm hearing from one of the guides, like, we can play this game for a long time. We hold the truth that they all need to know, and we hold the key to their next step. To the next step of their evolution, I was hearing. Eventually, one of them is going to take this step. Oh, Catherine, thank you for your support. Thank you for your super chat. This is amazing. Can I know which one might be more likely to... And actually, how would they know that you guys are around, spirit guides? Spirit guides are saying, we're always present. Sometimes people cannot, or they think they can't see past their own misery. I'm also hearing all they need to do is call out. All they need to do is call out. You know, it can be a simple, God help me, or a simple, I want to get out of here. Or just the feeling like, okay, I'm ready to move on. Because they will eventually get to the point where they feel like they're ready to move on. The spirit guides are saying we can play this game for a long time. They're saying 1,000 years if we have to. They're not, the spirit guides are still around. They are not leaving these earthbound souls, these men. They're not leaving them. They've just been very long ignored. Very long ignored. But, oop, did I have a buffering thing there? Here we go. There will be a balance. It will come. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. So back to Robert Bradley and Del. Del, I know you're listening to me, even though you're not talking. You are pretending like you aren't interested, but I know you are. I can feel it. He just made a oh, the look he gave me. Very sullen, and he just kind of goes back to, like, he's kind of perched. Got this, like, kind of dark look on his face, just, Okay, well, I'm sorry then if I offended you. But I know you're curious. Ellie says how funny you've annoyed Al Capone. I don't know if I annoyed him, but it's just this, the feeling that he sent me was like, this is too weird, I gotta go. Okay, so Del, Bradley, and Robert, what will it take for you guys to cross over? What will it take for you guys to leave where you are? Because I need you to understand that it's safe. You are safe to cross over. It's going to be okay. Spirit's telling me to just get some crystals out. I got selenite, amethyst, rose quartz. One of the guys is saying, what the hell do you got all those for? What I'm trying to do... which one of you guys asked me that? I feel like that was Bradley. What the hell you got all that for? Or all those for? What I'm trying to do is just create, or just try and bring in more white light to surround my workspace, but at the same time to surround you where you are. It's okay. You're gonna be okay. Alexandra is saying, Del, we are all souls. Tell us some wisdom. What will it take for you guys to cross over and to leave where you are? Because I understand that you are very comfortable, but I don't know if comfortable is the right word to use because you're still in pain. Okay, so I'm being reminded, you guys have probably read or watched Shawshank Redemption, and the one character, I think it's Morgan Freeman's character, talks about being institutionalized. And how a lot of prisoners who have become this institutionalized really, really have trouble adjusting to life on the outside. And there's the same kind of, there's like a similar vibe going on here. We've been here so long, we don't know what light looks like, they're saying. Safe passage. Yeah, they don't know how. Tara's apprentice is saying they don't know how, probably. And they don't. But the one guy is saying to me, I want to be guaranteed safe passage. He's afraid of being shot at in the water. Like, he's thinking about it as literally, like, physically leaving the building, getting into a boat, rowing away. He's not really thinking about it in terms of, like, spirituality, like... He wants, Robert, I think this is Robert saying this, he wants safe passage. He doesn't want to be shot in the water. Still in trauma, yes. Sheila's saying maybe they don't know they're dead. Yes, they do. I pick up very strongly they do, because Robert told us how they died. I think Robert was hanged. Bradley died in some kind of like riot or violent, there was like a big fight with a lot of prisoners. He died, and Dell was shivved. Or stabbed. And they told us, I don't remember which or who died when, but one died in 1957 and the other in 59. And they don't know when Dell died because he won't tell them. But just the fact that he's afraid of being shot in the water or being killed on his way out. He's just saying also, I would need to know that it's safe, and I would need to know that there's somebody friendly. He needs to know that there's somebody friendly. Yeah, okay, and as soon as I put this, Tara's apprentice like saying, in some cases they might need someone from the other side to meet them if they're afraid and don't trust moving anywhere because of fear. I think this is why Robert's saying he needs to know that he's going to meet somebody friendly out there. And Robert is the one that wanted to desperately go home to his mother, so I don't see why his mother can't meet him. They are scared. They're scared to move on. They're... What about for Bradley and Dell? What will it take for them to maybe move out of the prison, get out of there? It's going to take them some time. Is there anything that we can do to help? He's saying nobody has talked to us like humans. Now, he's saying before. Nobody has talked to us like humans before. There's hesitancy. It's like almost like he doesn't know if we can, but if we could, what could we do? Yeah, before when? That's a good point, Cheryl. I'm wondering if he means like before going to prison, or like during their time in prison. Maybe they were treated. I really pick up, like, I'm hearing the word livestock. Like they were treated more so like livestock than anything. So I'm wondering if like he's just been there so long. Like, I don't know. Maybe he just considers that like his life or something. I think Robert is a little bit confused. Well, again, okay, they need to know that there's going to be friendly people there to meet them. He is saying, well, I need a job or something to do on the outside. I don't know if he fully gets it. Like, he's still thinking about, like, he's afraid of being shot in the water, and then he is like, well, am I going to have a job on the outside? Am I going to have anything to do? And all three of them, actually, Del is kind of opening up a little bit. He's just sending feelings, just this, like, yeah, I agree. Like, they need to know that there's going to be somebody friendly. Okay. Well, all three of you have loved ones in spirit, and loved ones that you probably had in your family, or people that you missed. He's saying you won't he's saying you won't convert us today. He's saying thanks for the information. I just want, like, you guys to know, like, you three to know that there is a way out. That all you have to do is just call on, well, really anybody in spirit. Like, Robert, if you want to go home to your mother, call for your mother, ask for her. You know? I know. It's tough. But I just want, like, you three to know that it's safe. You're not stuck there. You're not condemned there. And that if you do venture outside, you won't be hurt. You're not going to be shot in the water. You're not going to have to worry about having a material job on the outside. You're in spirit now. Your job is a little bit different. Your work is going to be different than it was. Okay, and you know what? I have this Temperance card. This is not coming from Robert or Bradley or Del. This is just coming from, I think, maybe their spirit guides. But that there is healing. There's healing. And I'm not going to, like, try and cross them over or anything today, but I, you know, like, I just want them to know that they have the option and that they have safety. It's going to be okay. And you know what? I also feel like it maybe, like, right now, it's not my job to try and cross them over. And I know that. They have free will. Even though their bodies are dead, their souls have free will. And they're going to do with it what they choose. But I really wanted to just make that known to you guys that, like, the option is there. And if you ever want to leave, just picture a door. I'm going to draw you one right now. The option's there. It's drawn with white light. It's a door. It's unlocked. There are no guards. There are no guns. There's nothing but love, light, and trust. When you open this door, there will be people that you knew and loved waiting for you. There's going to be love waiting for you if you open that door. The door is always going to be there. It's your choice if you want to go through it or not. And that's where I'm going to leave it with those guys. Wow. Yeah, and you know what Alexander's saying? Maybe we can revisit them in the future. And that might be nice. Just check on them. Like, hey guys, how are you doing? Are things better? I wonder how many there are. In this reading, I just got first of all, 2 or 3, just these 3 guys. But I wonder if there are more. Maybe just those 3 were the most willing to come in or something. Or maybe they just had the strongest energy. I don't know. But, like, they consider each other like a little family there. So we're going to move to the last section of the stream. And this is changing gears quite a bit. We're looking at Bonnie and Clyde. I want to look at the energy of their relationship. Because, you know, like there's some, you see it all the time, like in like songs or media or whatever, like talking about some couple. It's like, oh, you're my ride or die. We're like Bonnie and Clyde, or, you know, I want to know what the energy of their relationship was like. Was it a healthy relationship? Was it a toxic relationship? Because, like, I find it, this maybe kind of weird, but, like, they can, you know, go do horrible criminal things together, and that's pretty dysfunctional, you'd think, but maybe their personal connection with each other was strong or healthy, you know? But I want to know, what was the energy of their relationship? And if either or both of them want to come in and communicate, that would be fine. I feel like Bradley, Robert, and Dell are gone. I've purposely disconnected their energy. I feel like they need me to just kind of leave them alone a little bit now. So Bonnie and Clyde, energy of your relationship while you were alive, let's say, because the energy of your relationship could be different now that you're in spirit. What was the energy of your relationship while you were alive? A lot of ups and downs. I mean, yeah, like most relationships, I guess, ups and downs, but like, I'm going to put some more cards down. Tell me about the relationship, Spirit. Tell me about, and I don't know necessarily if any of them want to come in. I do feel like a feminine energy very far away. Spirit's perspective on their relationship, because I mean, historians have probably, you know, done all kinds of research, and I'm sure that there were probably accounts of like people who knew them saying what these two people were like, but Spirit's perspective on this relationship. Okay, first of all, I have the Hangman. What is this about? Because this is about delays. I think it might be like they had a goal or something they wanted to do in life and they couldn't do it. But I just wait. There was no money. There was no money. They wanted to do something, but they had to wait because they couldn't afford it. What was it? Somebody in comments suggested, was it getting married? What did you have to wait for? Well, that may have been it. A lot of their plans were kind of thwarted or put on hold because of a lack of money. Something else about the nature of their relationship. Okay, huge ups and downs, like emotional swings. The highs were really high and the lows were like crushing. Already the energy attached to this, very sort of chaotic. They had their relationship, I think their relationship had quite a share of drama. Quite a lot of drama. They saw themselves as kind of like a power couple. And I feel like Clyde was the more dominant one in the relationship, because I just have this like, I don't have any cards for her, just him. Oh, Valerie, thank you for your super chat. Like he was I don't have the Emperor suggesting like a desire for control, but I think he was pretty controlling. He almost saw himself as like the manager of the relationship. She wanted to have children. She very, very, really, really wanted to have a child. Very strongly. I don't know if they did have kids or not, though. Because, again, like, I try to go into this with very little research. I don't know if they had kids. But it was almost like she wanted that, but, like, he didn't. Well, if you want to be a single mother, then go ahead. Was really the energy I'm feeling here. If you want to be a single mother, then go ahead. If you get pregnant, I'm not sticking around. This is the energy I'm feeling. Also, this energy, if you get pregnant, I'm not sticking around because that baby wouldn't be mine. Anything else to know about their relationship, Spirit? How about when they were like, you know, doing all the crimes and stuff together? Again, this keeps flipping up, face up, so that I keep seeing it when I shuffle. It's almost like I'm the boss and don't you forget it. That's sort of like Clyde's energy is I'm the boss and don't you forget it. And you know what, Clyde? If you're going to be like that during this reading, I will disconnect you so fast. Because I am the reader. I am the boss. Anything else about their relationship, Spirit? Anything that the public maybe didn't know? Anything the public didn't know? Oh, finally Bonnie shows up. Well, their deaths were a long time coming. Yeah, and you know what? Tara's Apprentice saying, Spirit saying he was gross and abusive, maybe? I think so. I think so. Somebody else just retracted their comment, and I was going to say, I was just going to read it about how he said, well, if you got pregnant, it wouldn't be mine. They were saying, well, there were rumors he wasn't able to perform. He wasn't able to, maybe wasn't very satisfying in the bedroom. There's rumors. But okay, their deaths were a long time coming. Bonnie wanted this like successful, happy life with her husband and a home and a family, and she felt like she was cheated. Cheated. It was stolen from her. The life she wanted was stolen from her. Johnny says, most abusive men aren't. They're just little boys wearing grown men clothes. And you know what? It's true. I have firsthand experience with this kind of thing. And I'm trying to keep my own personal experiences and feelings and traumas separate from this reading. Alexander saying, so wow, it wasn't as glamorous as Hollywood wants us, or as Hollywood would like to predict. It was not. The relationship had drama, ups and downs, abuse, just like controlling, very extremely controlling. Clyde was very controlling. And now Bonnie's not innocent either. She's not innocent either. She followed him. She kind of followed him into every situation. Well, that's my man, and I gotta stand, you know, like basically this energy, I gotta stand by him. Even though it was a huge burden on her. The word complicit comes in. She knows she was complicit. And okay, with some of these crimes, like maybe like robberies and stuff like that, she did kind of enjoy some of it. She enjoyed the word loot comes in. That bling, yeah, Little Sparrow saying that bling, yeah, she did enjoy that. And I do pick up the slight feeling of embarrassment from her, from Spirit, like, yeah. Just this like, but it's true, I did like it. So she went ahead. She went ahead with like his plans and stuff like that. She thought, we'll just do a couple of jobs and then we'll settle down and it will be fine. A couple of jobs turned into a lot. A lot. Yeah, a couple of jobs turned into this is just what they did. Oh, Catherine, wow. She's saying she just caught a fairy on her CC camera out front. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. But yeah, what Bonnie thought was going to be 1 or 2 jobs, and I feel like Clyde kind of convinced her, well, it's just this once. We're just going to hit this place once. Just turned into this is what they did. She, I think some of the money or like there's something here about like sneakily donating money or sneakily like, maybe some of it is like getting rid of some of the evidence perhaps. But she would like donate money or she'd, just have an image of her like dropping a lot of coins in this offering plate at church. I think they still had to try and keep up appearances as well, that they were like totally normal, nothing to see here. Somewhat. I feel like this was more towards the beginning of their relationship, or like when they started maybe doing jobs, because that's the word that comes in, jobs. She just considered it, well, we're just doing some jobs. But she would give away some of the money or some of the goods. I think some of it was maybe to be helpful and some of it was to just get rid of the evidence. Some of it was to quell her own guilt. Now, are they together in spirit or have they been separated? Or what happened there? Because this is something I want to know as well. With an abusive or a really unhealthy couple like on Earth, what's their relationship like in spirit? She thinks of it as she left him. She left him. That's how she, with their deaths. So, but that's how she kind of considers that her death. She left him. He still kind of tries to show up, like even in spirit, he still tries to inject, it's almost like he still tries to inject himself into like her awareness, but she left him and she's healing on her own. He still kind of tries to get into her awareness though. Does she know where he is in spirit? Actually, first of all, because now I feel like Bonnie is here. And like she wants to talk. Yeah, the drama continues. Yeah. Jeez. Okay, hang on. She was afraid that she was going to have to contend with him in the spirit realm. She was kind of afraid that he would like follow her there and never leave her alone. And she said it was hard because like she did feel like she loved him. The way she sees it now is more of an attachment to him that she had. All she knows is that wherever he is in spirit, she's like, I hope he's okay. Or he's okay, or he's like, there's just this feeling of like, she hopes that he's all right, and that he probably is all right. So what about you, Bonnie? I want to know about you. How are you doing in spirit realm? Because you've been healing without him. Sometimes she kind of looks... Yeah, they must be on different vibratory levels, is what Catherine's suggesting, because there's like, she kind of looks out for him a little bit, but she can't really find him. And then she gets told by spirit to drop it and let it go. Don't look for him. Let it go. Don't look for him. He served his purpose for you. Now, I want to know, is there any kind of reconciliation or anything in spirit? Especially when it comes to like an unhealthy relationship like that. Is there reconciliation? Did you guys see each other? Did you have an I'm sorry, I forgive you moment or anything like that? Let's see. She's privately acknowledged him on her own and sort of expressed, this is her kind of keeping it not like to herself, she's expressed it to like spirit guides, but she's kind of like privately forgiven him. I don't think they've had a face-to-face moment or anything. And she feels a lot of compassion and empathy for him. But she doesn't want to have a face-to-face with him because she's kind of, I think they used to fight a lot in their time on Earth. I think they used to fight a lot with each other. It's almost like that second nature where, or like it's come ingrained, if I confront him, there will be a fight. She's saying to me, God knows. Emperor being God, God knows. And I think it's saying with Ace of Cups, like God knows that she is willing to extend, you know, hey, sorry for my part in this, and I forgive you for your part. And she's like, God knows, and that's all we need. So where's Clyde at in spirit? Because she was like assuming he's okay and hopes that he's okay and stuff. But is he actually okay? What is he doing? Where is he? And they're on different vibrational or vibratory levels. Okay, so he definitely felt like he was broken up with. He thought he was going to have her under his wing or like on his arm in the spirit realm. I think she was also kind of arm candy to him. He felt broken up with because it's like they died, got to spirit. Where the hell is she? Where is she? There's like this anger. Where is she? Felt broken up with. So I'm actually relieved for her sake that they didn't have like a face-to-face moment. Eventually, Now, I talk a lot about like the life review and stuff like that, and I think he's one of those souls that has sort of hidden away because he doesn't want to see it. He doesn't want to be judged. But eventually, Spirit is going to come to him with a message like, hey, it's time. You need to come and deal with this so that you can move into a place of more comfort and contentment in spirit. So it will change eventually. He will be like, okay, fine, I need to go and process all of this in my life. I need to go and deal with this. Eventually that will happen. But right now he's kind of, I would maybe consider it the lower astral realm. I don't necessarily believe in hell, other than a hell that people create for themselves. But there is kind of a lower astral realm. And he's still vibrating or resonating at this, like this vibration of sadness and darkness. There's the devil card here. Like, I think he has himself boxed into what we might consider his own personal hell. So, reincarnation? I don't think Clyde is ready for reincarnation. No, not quite. He has a lot to process and work through before he can move on anywhere. But what about Bonnie? Reincarnation? Do you plan to come back and try life on Earth again? She's saying, I've done it many times. This was just one of many experiences, one of many go-arounds. That life was particularly traumatizing, though. Have you reincarnated since then? And I feel like she hasn't. No. Not yet. She hasn't yet. That life was pretty traumatizing. She had a lot of energetic garbage to work through. But now she's feeling like she is like one of her, she's considering it like working towards her best self. Reincarnation? Are you going to come back anytime soon? Yes, she will. She will. Very soon. Very soon. She, this time, is going to incarnate something she's going to do differently. She's like, I'm going to learn the truth. I'm going to learn what love really is. I'm going to learn what real love is. And I'm going to have a happy family. She still wants, this is very sweet, she still wants a happy family. She wants babies. She wants, and she's saying she doesn't care if she comes back as the man or the wife. This is what she wants. Love, a family, joy, happiness. She wants true, honest to God love. And that's what she was saying. Honest to God love. And she said to me, I don't think the details are quite finalized yet, because she wants to, there's the energy of, I want to be with a man who is smart and honest and charming and romantic. But at the same time, she's like, but I also want to be the man who is honest, charming, romantic, smart, caring. She's done so much healing. She's done so much healing. She's been doing great in the spirit realm. And the next lifetime that she has is going to help heal her from her lifetime as Bonnie. So that looks really, really, really good. Well, what about Clyde and reincarnation? Because, like, no, he's not ready yet. He has a lot of stuff to work through, but what would a reincarnation be like for him? Spirit's saying don't even ask, because he's not there yet. He's not there yet. There's like a council, like a high council, or a lot of people that he has to sit in front of. And not like justify why he deserves a reincarnation, but he needs to show them that he's learned his lesson and that he is sincere about moving forward in a more loving and positive way. But Spirit's saying don't even ask because he's not ready for that. Alexandra was asking, does Bonnie have any wisdom for single people? She says, can you pass along any wisdom for us single people? Cards are flying. Hang on. Cards are flying. Don't compromise. Do not compromise your integrity for false promises. She's saying be with somebody who will make you grow, who will help you grow. And if you're, no, she's saying, if you're not with somebody, be somebody who will help yourself to grow. And that right person will follow. But there's this huge, overwhelming feeling of do not compromise who you are. Do not compromise your integrity, your beliefs, your values for anyone. Even someone you feel like you love. She also wants people to know that during her time as Bonnie, I think she was very insecure. There's a thing about low self-esteem. Getting acknowledgement and attention and being used once in a while is not the same as being loved. Getting acknowledgement and attention now and then is not the same as love. And so to you, Bonnie, I wish you all of the best. And okay, whatever, to Clyde as well. I hope that he will learn to move forward in a more positive way. Hopefully he will learn the way that he's impacted other people. And Bonnie's saying she knows she was not innocent. She was complicit. She took responsibility for it and she worked through it. And so, what, I guess my hope is that Clyde will work through his junk and can ascend, and hopefully his next lifetimes are better and he makes better choices. Yeah, I hope Bonnie has the happiness, and just Spirit saying the next lifetime she has, it will be full of love. There will be a happy family. She's saying she doesn't care whether she's the husband or the wife. She just love. She just wants that. Like she said, that honest to God love. And that's what she'll get in her next lifetime. And I like that. That's a very hopeful message. I also was relieved to know that she and Clyde did not have to do a face-to-face in Spirit, that she was just able to forgive from afar and let it go and acknowledge what she learned from him. That's really good. I think that's probably relieving for a lot of people who've been through abusive situations or have had an abusive partner, that, you're safe. You are safe from them. And even in Spirit, things might be a little bit different. Maybe some people do reconcile and work through it, and some people, if they exist on different levels, well, you don't have to deal with that person. So I've thought that was pretty comforting to know, and I'm pretty comforted to know that Bonnie's going to find happiness in her next lifetime. Now with that, we're going to have to do a part 2 on this, more old-time true crime, because this is 2.5 hours long, and I could still keep going on and on and on, but I don't necessarily want a 3, 4, 5+ hour stream. So there were still so many more suggestions that I didn't get to, and I'm going to have to write all of those down, because there was the Alabama church bombing in the 50s, and there was all kinds of really, the Lindbergh baby, and all kinds of really cool stuff from, cool in this context. Stuff from history. So we are definitely gonna have to do a part 2 on this at some point. And with that, thank you guys so much for watching this. Oh my gosh, yes, we should include some serial killers, like some other ones, like Alexandra suggesting Ted Bundy. A couple of bad guys. We should really, really do that. So with that, thank you, Spirit, for the divine wisdom, information, protection we got. Thank you to everybody that came and watched the stream, and to everybody in Spirit who came and talked to us. Like we had Al Capone come talk to us. We had Etta Place just very, very distantly, you know, gave her 2 cents, and we had like Bonnie come in, and we had Robert, Bradley, and Dell. This was fascinating stuff. I like reading. I do like reading on true crime once in a while. The reason I didn't normally do it, I don't do modern true crime because the victims and perpetrators will still have existing living family members who are still hurt and affected, right? So I don't want to go and accidentally re-traumatize somebody. But for olden times, you know, where it was so long ago, people are so far removed, there may not be surviving family members for some of these olden days people. I think it's okay. So with that, thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. Thank you so much. I'm going to see you in my next upload as soon as possible, whenever that is. Bye-bye.